Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Mindset and Muscle, or M&M. We are out in the beautiful Florida heat. It's early in the morning, gets warm pretty early in Florida, but I don't mind. As long as you get out before 8 a.m. or so, it's not too bad. Getting our 30 minutes of cardio in. So right now we are doing 30 minutes of cardio a day. Just a nice brisk walk outside, weather permitting, helping with digestion, keeping everything tight, and keeping the cardio system functioning and firing for the workouts. Obviously, there's health benefits for the heart as well. Always good to get that activity in. Walking is phenomenal for you. And I personally find the treadmill and the stationary bike boring. So whenever I get the chance, I do my cardio outdoors. If you don't have that option, obviously you can substitute with any kind of cardio equipment in the gym, or if you have equipment at home, you can use that. But if you can get outside, go for a bike ride, jog, walk, I highly recommend it, as not only are you getting the cardio benefits, but you're also getting the fresh air, the sunshine, and it's just absolutely wonderful for the mindset equation in the mindset and muscle. I feel so much better mentally when I start my day rather than jumping straight on social media or the news, getting the chance to get outside, go for that 30-minute walk, just think, pray, meditate, whatever, listen to music. I absolutely love that, and mentally I feel so much better for the rest of the day. So I highly encourage you to get a routine set that allows you to get your cardio in, allows you to get your mindset right for the day, and at some point in the day, if you can, get that fresh air and get that sunshine. Today we are going to be training back and abs. So we'll walk through that workout here. As always, I'll talk you through the entire workout, the exercises I do, how to perform them to get the most out of them. And I know I always say it, but seriously, if you have any questions about the workout, if anything looks confusing to you, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will address and answer those questions. I do want this series to be not just about showing you my transformation and preparation going into shooting for a pro card and grow season and all of that. All of that is great. I hope that motivates and inspires you, but I really want to be here for your questions and to help you be able to grow and achieve your goals and bring your guys' visions to life as well. So any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section down below, and I will be happy to answer them. So without further ado, let's dive into the abs and back workout, and we will go over all the exercises. I'm going to finish this cardio. Back and abs on the menu. So I always start off a workout where I'm going to be training abs or calves with that exercise. I find it's best to just get it out of the way. Not only does it serve as a nice warm-up and mental exercise, get your mind set in the right place, but I find it's very difficult for me after a grueling, exhausting back workout to talk myself into staying for abs. So I always knock them out of the way first. Plus, I want to focus on my abs and calves. They are weak points, so let's bring them up. So starting off here on the stability ball crunch, you can add weight to this as you get stronger. I really like to focus on the control and contraction, kind of focusing on bringing the bottom of your rib cage and the top of your hip bones as far apart as you can at the bottom. Get that good stretch, and then bringing those 2 points as close together at the top while exhaling and crunching down on the abdominals. So a very controlled movement, focusing on the stretch and the squeeze of every rep. The stability ball allows you to do this as it gives you a better range of motion and puts your lower back in a safer place. Doing these on the floor, you don't really get that stretch on the abdominals, as once you come down, you're lying flat on the ground. So as soon as we finish this, I move into a standing twist movement. I don't like to do my twisting movements weighted, as I don't want to grow out my obliques at all or add any thickness to my waist, especially because I am a classic physique athlete. So I will just crunch down on my abdominals, keep constant tension in my waist, and just do this exercise to build that connection with the obliques. And then we finished off the circuit with hanging leg raises. So this is a phenomenal exercise for the abdominals. You want to make sure that you are using control with this exercise. It's easy to go very fast and allow your legs just to kind of slam back down on each rep to get some swinging and momentum going. So you want to try and keep your body as still as possible, focusing on exhaling as you bring your legs up, crunch down on the abs just like when you were doing the crunch, and then fighting gravity, controlling the legs down in a nice smooth motion back to the start. I will almost focus on doing a little mini vacuum at the bottom of each repetition to further engage and tax my abdominals and to focus on those rather than focusing on the hip flexors. After that, we moved into back. We started off with a single arm reverse grip pull down. You'll notice I'm using an attachment here that allows me to actually supinate my grip since reverse grip is on the menu. You're going to set up the pad here. You can do these seated. For me, my arms are a little too long, being over 6 feet tall. I have to modify. So I'm kneeling on the ground, but I adjust the pad so that I'm still able to anchor and lock my leg underneath the pad and then lean the side of my leg against that seat to keep me stable and keep me anchored. I don't like to do these exercises just kneeling on the free, as you're going to be wobbling around quite a bit. That way you're not able to use truly heavy weight. You need to make yourself stable. So we did 8 to 10 repetitions on a heavy set on each arm, and then we went into a lighter back off set. But I'm pronating at the top, allows you to get a really good stretch, and then driving downwards with the elbow, focusing on squeezing the lat as hard as you can at the bottom. Remember, the function of the lat is to bring that elbow down and back to the side of your body and then actually kind of wrap around towards your back to get a full contraction. So I'm trying to take advantage of that full range of motion as much as possible. Then we repeated on the other side, same thing, getting the pad set so that I could anchor my leg underneath, and then driving down, supinating as we came down, squeezing the lat at the bottom, nice and controlled on the way back to the top. This is something else you may see done incorrectly quite a bit, is when people allow gravity to just yank the weight back to the top and then using body momentum to swing the weight down. Don't ego lift on this exercise. Focus on contracting the chest or contracting the back and then stretching the back on every single rep, rather than just trying to move weight for weight's sake. It's all about feeling those muscles back there. And since you can't see the back in the mirror, a lot of people have a harder time making that mind to muscle connection. So really try and get the most out of each and every single rep. You'll see how long this set is actually taking me just because I'm going so slow and so controlled to really get the best results out of each one. After the single arm reverse grip cable pull downs, we moved over onto a pendlay row. This is similar to a barbell row, but you actually come to a dead stop with the weight on each rep. So you explode up, try and control down a little bit, and then come to a dead stop, exploding back up again. So we're aiming for 8 to 10 repetitions on the heavy set here. Definitely more of an explosive movement. And then we did a back off set with higher repetition range as well. So phenomenal exercise, very explosive, powerful exercise, similar to that barbell row. The thing I like about the pendlay row is it does put your lower back into a little bit of a safer position because your lower back doesn't have to catch the weight all the way down to the bottom and then reverse it up. The floor will catch the weight, and then you can reset yourself and drive up on each and every repetition. This also helps you limit body momentum a little bit as you don't end up standing more and more upright as you're fatigued. The weight has to hit the floor on each repetition. Then we moved on to a mag grip pull down. We did 2 sets here, one heavy, one back off set, focusing on getting a nice stretch on each rep. nice squeeze at the bottom. Again, it's not so much about how much weight you can use, it's about feeling the muscles in the back, and then obviously progressively overloading from there. This is an exercise I need to work on because I'm so used to strapping up on my heavy sets of pull downs. Obviously, you can't do that with the mag grip I have here. So I really need to prioritize getting my grip stronger so I'm able to go to complete failure on this exercise with my back without having my forearms and my grip strength come in and compromise any feeling in the exercise. But really like the connection I get with this. So definitely going to work on that and keep getting better. We did our back offset here, a little bit lighter. You can see the engagement. I'm focusing on getting my back. You can see my shoulders stretching up, scapula coming up at the top, and then driving those elbows down and back, bringing the scapula down and together at the bottom to fully engage all those muscles in the lats and in the mid back. After this was our last pull down variation. We just had one more exercise. You'll notice here me doing a couple stretches in between. If you get to the point where form gets sloppy, you can always rest pause. You don't want to release the weight all the way up to the top, but you can come up, kind of stretch out, refocus, and then get back in with that tight form. So after the pull downs, we moved on to our final exercise of the day, which is the Meadows row, named after the late and definitely great John Meadows. We did this one arm at a time on a landmine. The first setup here, the bar wasn't pushed all the way into the landmine hold, so I had to kind of reset myself there. But again, more of an explosive movement, trying to control on the way down, driving the elbow up and out, squeezing all the muscles of the upper middle back, and then coming all the way down into a full stretch. We did the one heavy set here as well, and then the one back off set. So with the heavy set, I like to go explosive, still focusing on a contraction and some control on the negative, but a little more explosive. And then on the back off set, we go a little smoother, a little slower, and really focus on feeling every inch of the range of motion. We repeat it on the other side for the same thing with this heavy set before moving into the back off on each arm. So just 4 exercises for back, but it was absolutely
all right.
toast.
So cardio is done. We've got a few meals in, and we are getting ready to make our pre-workout and head to the gym. But as always, I like to spend the last 5 to 10 minutes or so of the video focusing on you guys, on your questions, and what I can do to help you out. So we're going to pick 2 questions for today's video and dive a little bit more into depth in each one. Whereas the other days I've been kind of rapid fire answering more questions, but I had a couple really good ones. One was mindset focused and one was muscle focused. So I figured that ties in really nicely with the theme of this whole series. So this was a fantastic kind of 2-part question tying into the mindset in regards to what are some of the mental struggles that I went through as a bodybuilder starting out. So I've messaged with this person back and forth, and they're kind of in the same boat as me starting out as far as some of the mental battles when it comes to becoming a bodybuilder, especially when you're first starting out. So for me personally, I was already prone to kind of body dysmorphia. When I was 16 or 17 or so, I battled with basically anorexia, and I didn't realize it at the time. It was more so from an ignorance standpoint. I thought that the less I ate and the more I exercised, the faster I would be shredded. I'd be shredded from not eating, and I would have a lot of muscle from exercising all the time. But it very quickly became an obsessive compulsive type of thing, to the point where, you would go into the bathroom at church and do pull-ups on the shower stall door, or push-ups so that you were walking around with a pump because you thought that made you look better. I was eating less and less food. I'd go out to eat with my family, and I would order a salad with like no croutons. I wouldn't put any dressing on it, and that would be my meal. And I would like chew on gummy candy or whatever and then spit it out. Things that are not mentally healthy at all, obviously. And I very quickly, within a few months, realized that that wasn't working at all. I was not morphing into the bodybuilding magazine look that I envisioned in my head that would happen. So this is when I really started researching and diving deeper into what it actually takes nutritionally and exercise wise, diving into the world of bodybuilding from an actual knowledge standpoint and then applying that knowledge. And I was very quickly able to reverse out of that mindset. But as a lot of you maybe have dealt with as well as me, it only is a matter of time before that anorexia kind of switches into a bigorexia body dysmorphia issue where you're looking at yourself and you feel like you aren't making gains fast enough, or hey, I've been working out for a year and I don't look like Ronnie Coleman. What's the matter? Why isn't this coming fast enough? I'm eating a crazy amount of food and I'm lifting heavy. I should look like my favorite professional bodybuilder. So there's a lot of mental challenges, especially nowadays with the prevalence of social media and a lot of pressures that young bodybuilders, young men, young women place on themselves to look like their Instagram heroes or bodybuilders that are posting photos in the best lighting, oftentimes photoshopped, days out from a competition when they're at their most conditioned, most shredded, have been training for 10 plus years, are on all sorts of enhancements, all these factors that are putting that person in their absolute best opportunity. And that's what we mentally compare ourselves to when we're walking around in normal lighting, not 2 days out from a competition, having been trained for 1 or 2 years. We catch ourselves in the mirror and then we feel down on ourselves because we don't look like we think we should look. We don't look like that professional bodybuilder ideal. So it's very important to walk the line between realizing how far you've come from the start and acknowledging and, for lack of a better word, giving yourself a pat on the back, congratulating yourselves for the progress that you have made and celebrating it, being excited and proud of the progress you have made, while at the same time not being content or never being satisfied. And that's what I've learned to love of this, and kind of how I've reconciled with that mental battle is I love the chase of getting better every day. And I know that if I put 100% into my workouts, I follow my nutrition plan to a T, then I am going to be getting better. And those little steps, those little gains over time add up and make tremendous progress. So I'm never satisfied. I never look in the mirror and think, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm where I want to be. I always want to be better, and I will be better. In this next year, the push to the pro card, I'm going to absolutely crush the old me, and I'm so excited about that. But at the same time, you also have to recognize and celebrate those gains that you have made. Be proud of them, and that is what really helped me mentally. So if you are dealing with that, a lot of people are, even the top pro bodybuilders, even your favorite fitness influencers with millions of followers on social media, we deal with that too. So you can feel free to reach out to me or us on the DMs, and I'm sure you'll make a connection of somebody who can understand that mental battle. So it's all a matter of realizing you are not only bodybuilding. So you have to appreciate yourself for who you are, celebrate your progress, but never be satisfied, and strive to get better each and every day. And that is the joy, the journey, and the challenge of bodybuilding that I love. The second question we had was tying into the video I posted a couple days ago regarding my chest workout. And that is somebody who's having trouble feeling their chest work during chest exercises. They reached out to me and they were saying they're trying to get their chest to grow. They do all the chest exercises that they're supposed to do, but they feel them mostly in their shoulders, a little bit in the chest, a little bit in the triceps, but mostly in the shoulders, and even to the point where it's causing them shoulder pain. So how do you connect with your chest on those chest exercises? So I'm going to show you 2 key things that really helped me. First of all, this isn't really one of the key things. This is just an important factor to take into mind. You will probably want to back off on the weight on the compound movements when you start implementing these two key patterns. So the first thing is it can be good to do an isolation exercise to pre-exhaust your chest before moving into the heavier chest exercises, so you already have a good connection. So for example, for me, I am really able to feel a good connection to my chest, a good squeeze, a good stretch when I do a seated or incline cable fly movement. I don't go super heavy on this exercise. I just use a weight that I can really get a great squeeze with. I'll do higher repetitions, let's say 15 to 20 or so repetitions, really focusing on just getting a good pump and feeling my chest contract on each and every repetition. That will get me nice and warmed up and ready to go. So the second key tip, once you are pre-exhausted a little bit and then moving into the compound movements, is to make sure that you are set up correctly and you are pressing with intention towards the muscle you're trying to activate. So if you're feeling the exercise in your shoulders and triceps more, a lot of times that means that your shoulders will be kind of rounded forward, trying to compensate for the exercise. For example, if you're doing a bench press from the side here and your shoulders are pushed forward, that front deltoid is going to engage and take a lot of the tension off of the chest. So what you want to do is you actually want to squeeze your shoulder blades back together and then press your shoulders down. So let's say you're doing an incline hammer strength machine, for example. You're going to sit back on the seat, you're going to squeeze your shoulders back, and then you're going to push your shoulders down, and you're going to lock yourself into place right there. For the rest of the exercise, this is where your shoulders are going to stay. You're not going to allow them to round forward. You're not going to allow your traps to pop up. You're going to keep your shoulders back and down. And what this does is that pushes your chest out in front of your shoulders and forces it to take the majority of the load. Usually if you're stacking muscle groups, the muscle that's at the top or at the front of the exercise is going to take the brunt of the load, especially as you get better connection with the exercise. This will also put you in a much more stable position, so your shoulders aren't grinding and wobbling around in their sockets as much and could save you potential rotator cuff issues in the future. So the second part of this tip is that intention, and that is where basically whatever exercise you're going to be doing, as you press up and as you control the negative, you're going to be focusing on driving your hands inward on the bar. So if you're doing a barbell bench press, as you press up, you're actually going to be gripping the bar and trying to shove your hands inward on the bar as hard as you can. Now, obviously your hands aren't going to move anywhere because they're gripping the bar, but that inward focus is going to cause a contraction on your chest. It's the same as if you press your hands together and try and shove them together. You can actually see and feel your chest contract. You're causing that contraction throughout the entire range of motion of a pressing rep. Same thing if you're using a Smith machine. Same thing if you're using a hammer strength machine. The only time it will be a little bit different is if you're using dumbbells, as each hand is working individually. You can't grip and shove your hands together. So if you're doing a dumbbell exercise, what you're going to do, you're going to set up the same, shoulders back and down. And as you press up, you're going to focus on bringing your elbows together towards the top. So you're going to press up like you're trying to touch the inside of one elbow to the other, and then bring them as far apart as you can at the bottom. So elbows together, elbows back. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep you focused on activating the chest, as the function of the chest is to bring that arm down and across your sternum the entire time. So you'll keep tension on the chest and off the shoulders and triceps that way. Give that a try. Hopefully those two tips help. Pre-exhaust, get a good pump and mind muscle connection with an isolation exercise, and then that inward intention on all your compound movements. And let me know if you have any other questions regarding feeling the chest. All right, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Our next video will be a full day of eating. I've been getting quite a few requests for that, so we're going to film that and go over a full day of eating, including what a treat meal looks like for me right now. So super excited about that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next video.